Good morning, everyone. I'm Assemblymember Tony Simone. I represent the west side of Manhattan. We're here for one common purpose, to remember all those that we have lost to the AIDS pandemic. Could you imagine if we had treated the HIV/AIDS pandemic as we did COVID? Could you imagine if we would have realized during the Reagan administration how evil he was to ignore us? I remember being at a good friend Kevin's house on the Upper West Side, and he had these beautiful photos of all these really attractive men, and really, they were so close. And I was like, Kevin, have you kept in touch with them? That's how naive I was. Where are they now? And he said, only two of us are alive. And to think many of our youth today forget what many went through. I grew up in the 90s, so it was at the tail end of seeing how many we lost. But people forget it's still a pandemic and epidemic. We still don't have a cure. We still have to fight for housing and health care for people with HIV/AIDS living in poverty. We cannot forget that. Everyone should be housed in New York, including folks who are challenged by their health conditions and HIV/AIDS. We have to continue to make access to PrEP easy. No, delaying PrEP for men who have sex with men. We have to continue to talk about this, that it's still a pandemic and still an epidemic. And until we have a cure, we can never stop fighting and make sure that we bond together over it. We have to remember the positive side of a terrible crisis we went through. From it came ACT UP. We learned to politically organize. We learned to elect LGBT, openly living with HIV/AIDS folks like Tom DeWayne, State Senator Tom DeWayne, and others to elected office. Until everyone realizes in the world that HIV/AIDS affects the most marginalized communities across this world, we can't stop fighting. I want to thank Housing Works and all the organizations for organizing World AIDS Day. Until we find a cure, until we realize this terrible pandemic still rages on, we must keep fighting and advocating and educating the public. Thank you so much for letting me speak. Charles Eugene Stanfield. Charles Gregory Ecton. Charles Hubert Horstman. Charles L. Eichmann. Charles Maxfield Canfield. Charles Philip Dabney. Charles R. Chuck Wright. Charles S. Drucker. Charles T. Hashbrook. Charles William Chuck Terza. Charlie Lewis. Charlie Brown. Charlie Case. Charlie Kroom. Charlie Dowdy. Charlie Simpson.